Tears as a testament to our deepest courage. Good day, everyone. Today, I don't stand before you as an expert, a mentor, or a speaker, but simply as a human being, as someone who knows pain, someone who knows the silence of tears that fall at night, someone who asks questions that don't always have easy answers. And I want to share with you a thought, simple in form, yet profound in meaning. You don't have to be ashamed of your tears because they show that you had the courage to suffer. Maybe that sounds simple, but this quote holds a deep truth about what it means to be human. In a world where strength, performance, and resilience are often glorified, where we're told to toughen up and keep going, tears are too often seen as a weakness. But I believe that in those tears lies our greatest strength, because the courage to feel is the courage to live. Viktor Frankl, a man who understood the value of suffering. When we talk about suffering, about transforming pain into meaning, we have to talk about Viktor Frankl, an Austrian psychiatrist, philosopher, Holocaust survivor, and the founder of logotherapy. During the Second World War, Frankl lost everything: his wife, his parents, his home, his freedom. He found himself in a concentration camp, surrounded by death, fear, and despair, where the value of a single life had been reduced to nothing. And yet, in that darkness, he found meaning. He wrote, "Everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's own way." Frankl observed that even in the worst conditions, some people preserved a sense of dignity, sometimes by holding on to the memory of a loved one, sometimes by imagining themselves telling their story one day, teaching others, helping them heal. That sense of meaning, however fragile, became their guiding light. To suffer is to survive, and to grow. Frankl believed that suffering is an inseparable part of life, not because life is cruel, but because through suffering, we grow in ways we never could otherwise. In his book, Man's Search for Meaning, he wrote, "In some way, suffering ceases to be suffering at the moment it finds a meaning. And there lies the key. Not everything that hurts us is fair. Not everything we endure is deserved. But we have the freedom to choose what we do with our suffering. We can curse it, or we can transform it. We can drown in it, or we can shape it into something greater through creativity, compassion, wisdom, or service to others. And our tears are part of that transformation. Tears are not weakness. Tears are the language of the soul. How many times have you tried not to cry? How often have you whispered to yourself, "I have to be strong. I can't break down now"? And today I say to you, it's human to break down. It's brave to cry. Because admitting our pain is the first step toward healing. Tears are not just an emotional reaction. They're a sign that something inside us is deeply alive, that something matters, that we are human. True strength doesn't lie in straightened shoulders or dry eyes. True strength is when we allow ourselves to be vulnerable and still choose to go on. Frankl once said, "Man is not what he is what he can become." And it's often suffering, ironically, that leads us to become more. The meaning in our tears. Each of you carries your own stories, stories the world doesn't always see. You've lost loved ones. You've faced heartbreak, anxiety, burnout. You've pretended you were fine just to get through the day. But deep down, you've felt it, that pressure, that grief, that silence. And today I want to tell you, those tears were brave, every single one, because they meant you allowed yourself to be real. And in that moment, you opened the door to healing, not because of what happened to you, but because of what you chose to do with it. Conclusion: don't be ashamed of your tears. If you remember anything from this, let it be this. Tears are not shameful. They're proof that you have a heart that hasn't gone numb. To suffer is not to fail. It's to live fully with an open heart. Meaning might not come right away, but we can move toward it with patience, with presence, with trust. And if you ever find yourself lost in the dark, remember Frankl's words. Even in the deepest suffering, there is meaning. If we can find it, suffering cannot destroy us. It transforms us. You don't have to be ashamed of your tears, because they say, "I haven't given up." They say, "I felt, I loved, I lived." Thank you.